chosen one. Why are you still breathing? No, seriously, answer me that. After everything that tried to kill you, after that diagnosis that should have been your death sentence, after that betrayal that ripped your heart clean out of your chest, after those nights you begged God to just let you die in your sleep because waking up hurt too much, after your own children looked at you like you were a stranger, after the bank account hit zero and the pills sat there on the nightstand, whispering your name, why are you still here? I'll tell you why, and listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to say will shatter every lie the enemy has whispered in your ear for the last 70, 80, 90 years. You're still here because heaven scheduled this exact moment before you even opened your eyes this morning. This isn't a video you stumbled across while scrolling. This is a divine interception. A sacred collision between your desperation and God's declaration. Your suffering just expired. I know you don't believe me yet. I know you're sitting there in that empty house, in that chair your late spouse used to sit in, wondering why God let you live this long just to feel this alone. I know you look in the mirror and see a body that's betraying you, a face that nobody seems to notice anymore, a life that feels like it's winding down into nothing. But what if I told you that every tear you've cried in secret, every prayer you've whispered at 3 a.m. when the world was asleep, every time you almost gave up but didn't, what if all of that just got heaven's attention in a way you've never experienced before? Your warfare contract has been cancelled by heaven. Before we go any deeper, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving. You're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let the Holy Spirit move. But hear me clearly. You will never have to go through that again. The cycle that's been repeating in your family for 3 generations? Done. The pain that's followed you since you were a child? Finished. The loneliness that makes you wonder if you're invisible to God? Over. But what God is about to reveal in the next few minutes is the part nobody told you. The part your pastor never preached. The part that changes everything you thought you knew about your final chapter. Before we go deeper, comment Amen if your spirit already feels this word shifting something. Because, beloved, you didn't find this message. This message found you. How many nights have you sat at that kitchen table, staring at the wall, wondering if anyone on this earth still remembers your name? How many times have you picked up the phone to call your children, then put it back down because you don't want to be a burden? How many mornings have you woken up and asked God why He's keeping you here when everyone you loved is already gone? I need you to understand something that's going to shake you to your core. That loneliness you're carrying, that ache in your chest that never quite goes away, that feeling like you're invisible in a world that used to see you, that's not evidence that God forgot about you. That's evidence that you've been in the furnace. You see, most people think suffering is random. They think pain is just bad luck, that heartbreak is just part of getting old, that loss is just what happens when you live long enough. But beloved, what if I told you that every single tear you've cried, every night you've spent staring at the ceiling waiting for dawn, every moment you've felt completely alone, what if all of that was strategic? What if you weren't abandoned? What if you were refined? Think about this. You carried your mother through her final days, watching her forget your name, feeding her like she once fed you. That wasn't just caregiving, that was your PhD in compassion. You buried your husband after 47 years of marriage, and half of your soul went into that ground with him. That wasn't just grief, that was you learning what it means to love beyond death. Your daughter stopped calling. Your son moved 3,000 miles away, and suddenly the grandchildren you raised don't know your voice anymore. That wasn't rejection. That was God teaching you that your identity isn't wrapped up in who remembers you, but in who created you. You carried burdens your younger self didn't have language for. I'm talking to the woman who raised 4 children on a waitress salary after her husband walked out. I'm talking to the man who worked the night shift for 30 years so his family could have a roof over their heads, and now sits alone in that same house, wondering if it mattered. I'm talking to every senior citizen who did everything right, followed all the rules, served God faithfully, and still ended up feeling forgotten. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Here's the truth, that hell has been working overtime to hide from you. Daniel chapter 3 tells us about 3 Hebrew boys thrown into a furnace heated 7 times hotter than normal. 7 times. The king's own soldiers died just getting close to it. But when King Nebuchadnezzar looked inside, he didn't see 3 men burning. He saw 4 men walking around, and the 4th one looked like the Son of God. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? God didn't pull them out of the fire. He got in it with them. That depression that's haunted you for 20 years, He was in it with you. That financial crisis that stripped you of everything you'd built, He was in it with you. That diagnosis the doctor said was terminal, He was in it with you. Every single night you thought you were alone, crying into your pillow, begging for relief, the 4th man in the fire was standing right there beside you. But why? Why would a good God let you burn? Because fire doesn't destroy gold, beloved. Fire purifies it. It burns away everything that's not essential, everything that's not eternal, everything that's not you. And when you finally come out, and you are coming out, there won't be even the smell of smoke on you. The only thing that fire will have destroyed is the chains that were holding you back. What if I told you that those long nights were actually proof of your calling? See, the enemy doesn't waste his best weapons on people who don't matter. He doesn't heat the furnace 7 times hotter for someone who poses no threat to his kingdom. The very fact that your life has been this hard, that your battles have been this intense, that your pain has been this deep, that's not evidence that you're cursed. That's evidence that you're dangerous. Job lost everything: his children, his wealth, his health, his reputation. His own wife told him to curse God and die. But Job 23:10 records his response. But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Not if He tests me. When? Because Job understood something that you're about to understand. God didn't forget you. He was preparing you. Every person who betrayed you was teaching you discernment. Every door that slammed in your face was redirecting you toward your real assignment. Every year you spent feeling invisible was actually God hiding you, protecting you, keeping you secret until the world was ready for what He placed inside you. You weren't being punished, chosen one. You were being positioned. And the furnace you've been walking through, that wasn't your prison. That was your promotion. But what happens when someone finally comes out of that fire? When the heat stops, when the testing ends, when God says enough? What does heaven release into a life that's been refined by decades of faithful suffering? Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. While you were sitting in that doctor's waiting room 3 weeks ago, something happened in the courts of heaven that you knew nothing about. While you were lying awake at 2 a.m. wondering how you'd make it through another day, the Almighty picked up His gavel and issued a verdict concerning your life. A verdict has been issued concerning your life. And I need you to understand something that's going to shake you to your core. This isn't about what's going to happen. This is about what already happened. Past tense, finished, done, signed, sealed, and delivered, while you were still wiping tears off your face. You see, most believers spend their entire lives waiting for God to move, waiting for breakthrough, waiting for deliverance, waiting for that moment when heaven finally decides they've suffered enough. But what if I told you that God doesn't operate on your timeline? What if I told you that the courts of heaven don't wait for your permission to rule in your favor? Daniel chapter 10 records something that will blow your mind. Daniel prayed, and the Bible says that from the first day he set his heart to understand, his words were heard. From the first day. But the answer didn't arrive for 21 days. Why? Because there was warfare in the heavenly realm. The answer was already released, but Daniel couldn't see it yet. That's you right now. The storm ended before you even noticed. The battle was won while you were still crying about the fight. The chains fell off weeks ago, you're just now seeing the results. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what makes me want to shake you awake right now. You've been so focused on the pain that you missed the paperwork. You've been so consumed by the struggle that you didn't hear the gavel hit the bench. You've been so certain that you're still in the fire that you didn't realize you're standing in the ashes of your victory. Let me ask you something that might sting. How many nights have you cried yourself to sleep, believing God forgot about you? How many mornings have you woken up wondering if this is all there is? How many times have you looked at your life and thought, I'm going to die carrying this burden? But what if you're not carrying it anymore? What if you've been dragging around the memory of chains that aren't even attached to you? Think about the children of Israel at the Red Sea. They were terrified, screaming at Moses, convinced they were about to die. But Moses said something that should be tattooed on your heart. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. And what happened? Before they even picked up a sword, before they even strategized a defense, God split the sea. The victory was handed to them before they lifted a finger. You survived something you were never meant to survive alone. That financial collapse that should have destroyed you, you didn't survive that on your willpower. That diagnosis that should have been your death sentence, you didn't beat that with positive thinking. That depression that whispered suicide in your ear every single night for 2 years, you didn't overcome that because you're strong. You survived because heaven intervened, because the Ancient of Days looked at your situation and said, enough, this one is mine. Touch them again, and you'll answer to me. Job 5:19 declares, from 6 calamities he will rescue you, in 7 no harm will touch you. But notice something, God didn't prevent the calamities. He rescued Job from them. That means Job had to go through it. But the promise wasn't survival, it was immunity afterward. In 7 no harm will touch you. 7. The number of completion, the number of divine perfection. And beloved, you just hit your 7th. That's why everything feels different right now. That's why you're watching this video. That's why something in your spirit is stirring for the first time in years. Because the 7th calamity just passed, and the promise kicked in. No harm will touch you. The chain didn't fall off today. It fell off weeks ago, you're just seeing the results now. Think about Lazarus in that tomb. 4 days dead, wrapped in burial clothes, stone sealed. Everyone had given up, but Jesus showed up late on purpose. He let Lazarus die. He let the family grieve. He let hope fade. Why? Because he wasn't interested in healing a sick man. He wanted to resurrect a dead one. You thought God was late, but he was right on time for a resurrection. And here's the part that's going to wreck you. Here's the revelation that changes everything. The moment you stopped fighting, the moment you finally surrendered and said, God, I can't do this anymore, that was the moment heaven signed the paperwork. Your weakness triggered his strength. Your surrender activated his sovereignty. Your breaking point became his breakthrough point. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness, not in your strength. In your weakness. When you finally ran out of options, God finally had room to move. So let me ask you, when did you stop fighting? When did you finally throw your hands up and say, I quit trying to fix this? because I'm willing to bet that within days, maybe even hours of that moment, things started shifting. Doors started opening. Conversations started changing. The enemy started backing off. That wasn't coincidence. That was the verdict being executed. Tell me in the comments right now, I receive this, because speaking it activates it, declaring it releases it. When you say, I receive this, you're agreeing with what heaven has already decided about your life. But here's what most people don't understand about divine verdicts. Heaven doesn't just rule in your favor and walk away. When God issues a decree over your life, He backs it up with enforcement. He posts angels at your door. He redirects your enemies. He rearranges circumstances you didn't even pray about. And that's exactly what's happening to you right now, whether you feel it or not. The verdict has been issued. The paperwork has been signed. The execution of heaven's will in your life has already begun. But the question that will determine everything is this: will you walk in it, or will you keep living like you're still in court, waiting for a decision that's already been made? You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange sensation that something inside you is different, changed, rearranged in ways you can't quite explain to anyone because they'd think you were losing your mind. Maybe it started 3 months ago. Maybe it was last Tuesday. But something shifted, and you know it. You wake up at 4:17 a.m., not because your bladder woke you, not because of pain, but because something pulled you out of sleep like an invisible hand on your shoulder, and you lie there in the dark, fully awake, feeling like you're supposed to be paying attention to something you can't see. You look at people you've known for decades, and suddenly, you don't recognize them anymore. Not their faces, their spirits. Your own daughter calls you, complaining about the same trivial drama she's been recycling for 20 years, and instead of engaging like you always did, you feel this overwhelming urge to just disconnect. Not out of meanness, out of clarity. That friend who's been draining you for 35 years with their negativity. You used to feel guilty for wanting distance. Now you feel nothing but peace when you don't answer their calls. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why can't I tolerate what I used to tolerate? Here's what else has been happening, and I need you to be honest with yourself right now. You've been crying more easily. A commercial about a soldier coming home makes you weep. A song on the radio about God's faithfulness breaks you open in the grocery store parking lot. You thought maybe it was just age, just hormones, just loneliness. But what if it wasn't? What if your heart wasn't breaking? What if it was breaking open? And those dreams, chosen one. Oh, those dreams. You've been having dreams so vivid, so real, that you wake up confused about which realm you actually belong to. Dreams where deceased loved ones appear and tell you things. Dreams where you see events before they happen. Dreams where you hear a voice speaking instructions so clear you write them down at 3 a.m. on the back of an envelope. Your doctor might call it sleep disruption. Your family might call it stress. But what if heaven calls it communication? Listen to me carefully. That restlessness crawling under your skin like electricity, that feeling that you're supposed to be doing something, but you don't know what, that's not anxiety. That's assignment trying to break through the confusion. You thought you were falling apart, but you were actually being reassembled. Joel 2:28 declares, "And it shall come to pass afterward, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your old men shall dream dreams." Not your young men only, your old men, your old women. God specifically mentioned the elders, because He knew that in the last days, He would need the ones who've been through the fire to carry the message that can only be spoken by survivors. But here's what nobody told you about this awakening process. It doesn't feel holy. It feels disorienting. It feels like you're losing your grip on reality. Because you are. You're losing your grip on the false reality you've been living in for decades, and you're being pulled into the true reality where you finally see things as they actually are. That disconnection you've been feeling from people, places, routines that used to define you, that wasn't depression setting in. That was delusion falling off. That sudden inability to participate in shallow conversations, petty arguments, meaningless drama. That wasn't you becoming difficult. That was you becoming dangerous to darkness. That strange sense that time is speeding up, that days blur together, that you can't remember if something happened last week or last month. You're not losing your memory, beloved. You're losing your attachment to time itself, because your spirit is starting to operate from an eternal perspective. The Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 4:16, "Though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. While your body shows the natural signs of age, something inside you is becoming younger, stronger, more alive than it's been in decades." That wasn't aging. That wasn't anxiety. That wasn't coincidence. It was awakening. You felt the shift before heaven allowed you to see it. God was rewiring your spiritual circuitry in the background while you thought you were just getting older, getting tired, getting ready to fade away. But you weren't fading. You were being filtered, purified, prepared. Every toxic person who suddenly felt unbearable, that was your discernment sharpening. Every shallow pursuit that lost its appeal, that was your purpose clarifying. Every religious routine that started feeling empty, that was your hunger for the real presence of God intensifying. You're not at the edge of breakthrough anymore, chosen one. You have entered it. This isn't the beginning of the end. This is the end of the beginning. Everything you've experienced up until this moment, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every year you thought was wasted, it was all preparation for what's unfolding right now. But here's the question that's burning in your chest. If the shift already happened, if the awakening is complete, then what comes next? Listen to me, chosen one. I need you to stop right now and think about something that's been breaking your heart in silence. Where are they? Where are the people who promised they'd always be there? Where are your children who used to call you every Sunday, but now you're lucky if you hear from them once a month? Where are the friends you buried your secrets with, the ones who knew your middle name and your favorite hymn? Where's the spouse who sat beside you for 47 years, whose side of the bed is now cold and empty? Where did everyone go? You sit in that house, the one that used to burst with noise and laughter and life, and now the silence is so thick you can taste it. You set the table for one, you talk to photographs, you keep your phone on loud, volume all the way up, just in case somebody remembers you're still here. And the cruelest part? You've started to believe the lie that says you're forgettable, that you're a burden, that you've become invisible in your own family, that maybe, just maybe, you did something wrong, and that's why everyone drifted away. But what if I told you that every single person who walked out of your life, every friend who stopped calling, every child who got too busy, every companion who found someone else more interesting, what if all of that was God's hand, not the enemy's? Stay with me, because this is going to hurt before it heals. You see, there's a word in Scripture that most preachers skip over because it's too painful to preach. It's found in John 15:2. Jesus said, "Every branch in me that beareth not fruit he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit." That word purgeth, in the original Greek, it's kathaire. It means to cleanse by pruning, to cut away, to remove what looks alive but is actually draining your life force. God has been pruning you. Every person who left wasn't abandoning you. They were being removed, not because you're unlovable, but because they were attached to your history, not your destiny. They knew the old you, the one who settled, who dimmed your light to make others comfortable, who carried people who should have been walking on their own. But God is preparing you for a chapter so powerful, so anointed, so supernaturally charged, that some people simply cannot come with you. Not because they're bad people, but because their season in your story has expired. Think about it. Your children, yes, your own flesh and blood, they stopped calling as much. And it devastated you, didn't it? You wondered what you did wrong. You replayed every conversation, every holiday dinner, trying to figure out where you failed as a parent. But what if God knew that you were spending so much emotional energy trying to fix relationships that were meant to shift, that you had nothing left for your real assignment? What if their distance was actually creating space for something or someone you've been too crowded to receive? Your friends who passed away, oh beloved, I know that grief is still fresh. I know you still reach for the phone to call them before you remember they're gone. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to see. Every person who went home to glory released you from a soul tie that was keeping you bound to the past. You were so busy maintaining old connections that you couldn't form new ones. You were so loyal to yesterday that tomorrow couldn't reach you. And that spouse, the one whose loss nearly killed you, what if I told you that God allowed that separation not as punishment, but as preparation, not to destroy you, but to reveal something about your identity that could only be discovered in solitude? You were we for so long that you forgot how to be I. You were somebody's wife, somebody's husband for so many decades that you lost sight of whose child you are. God has been stripping away every identity that wasn't rooted in Him. Proverbs 18:24 says, "A man that hath friends must shew himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother." Some friendships are seasonal, but there is one who never leaves, never forgets, never stops calling your name. Every loss was a holy pruning. The people who were tied to your old struggles, your old patterns, your old way of thinking, they had to go, because what's coming next in your life requires a different frequency, a different faith level, a different circle. God is making room for divine connections, supernatural relationships, people who will recognize your anointing instead of just remembering your mistakes. Some people were tied to your history but not your destiny. And I know this is hard to hear. I know you wanted your children at your table. I know you wanted your friends to grow old with you. I know you wanted your spouse to see this next chapter. But God knew something you didn't. He knew that what He's about to release in your life is so sacred, so powerful, so transformative that only certain people could witness it without contaminating it. What left your life was never meant to carry your breakthrough. The chapter God is writing now doesn't include certain names, not because those people were evil, but because their role was complete. And you, dear chosen one, you have to make peace with graduation. You have to release who God removed. You have to stop trying to resurrect what heaven buried. If you're ready, and I mean truly ready, to let go of what let go of you. If you're ready to stop grieving exits that were actually divine interventions. If you're ready to trust that God's pruning shears are sharper than your pain, then comment right now, "Lord, I release what you removed." Because, beloved, you cannot hold your future with hands that are still gripping your past. And what's waiting for you in the next season will make you understand why everyone else had to leave. Listen to me, chosen one. You're not climbing anymore, you're rising. There's a difference, and if you don't understand this difference, you'll miss what God is doing right now. Climbing is effort. Climbing is struggle. Climbing is you pushing, straining, grinding your way up a mountain with bloody knuckles and a broken heart. But rising is when you stop pushing and God starts lifting. You've been climbing for 70 years, 80 years, maybe longer. Every step forward cost you something. Every inch of progress left a scar. You climbed through that marriage that almost killed you. You climbed through raising children who don't call anymore. You climbed through burying people you thought you'd grow old with. You climbed through financial ruin, through diagnosis after diagnosis, through betrayals that left you wondering if you'd ever trust again. But this morning, this very morning when you woke up and didn't want to, something shifted in the heavenly realm. The season of climbing just ended. The season of rising just began. And here's what's going to wreck you. You're being lifted to a place your past cannot enter. Think about that. Your shame can't follow you there. Your regrets can't reach that altitude. The voices that said you weren't enough, the people who walked away, the mistakes that haunted you for decades, they don't have clearance for where God is taking you. Isaiah 43:18 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past." But that's not just inspirational poetry, beloved. That's a divine eviction notice. Your past is being legally removed from your future. You know what breaks my heart? It's watching people your age believe the lie that elevation is for the young, that promotion belongs to the energetic, that new beginnings are for people who still have their whole lives ahead of them. But let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. Who told you that God has an age limit on His glory? Was it God? Or was it a culture that worships youth and throws away wisdom? Because the God I serve, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, He specialized in elevating people the world had written off. Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to nations. Moses was 80 when he split the Red Sea. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain." They weren't climbing, beloved. They were rising. And so are you. Your tears were not wasted. Every single one of them has been collected in heaven's bottles. Psalm 56:8 says, "God keeps track of your sorrows. He stores your tears in His bottle." Do you understand what that means? While you thought God was distant, He was documenting. While you thought He wasn't listening, He was recording. And now, right now, those tears are about to be converted into testimony so powerful that your own family won't recognize the authority flowing from your mouth. Your private battles are about to be publicly rewarded. Matthew 6:6 promises that what you do in secret, your Father will reward openly. But here's what most people miss. The reward isn't just a blessing, it's positioning, it's influence. It's you walking into rooms you used to be locked out of, speaking words that shift atmospheres, carrying a presence that makes demons nervous and angels stand at attention. You thought you were just surviving your struggles, but God was building something inside you that this generation desperately needs. They need your scars. They need your story. They need to see what happens when someone refuses to die in the wilderness and instead lets God turn their mourning into dancing. But here's the mystery that's going to blow your mind. Something you prayed for years ago is coming back around, but upgraded. That thing you begged God for in 1987? It's circling back. But it's not coming the way you expected. It's coming better, stronger, more powerful than your original prayer could contain. Because God doesn't just answer prayers, beloved. He upgrades them. He takes your small request and turns it into kingdom strategy. Remember when you prayed for your children to come back? God heard that. But He's not just bringing them back, He's bringing them back changed, broken, ready to receive the wisdom they rejected 30 years ago. Remember when you prayed for provision? God's not just paying your bills. He's about to make you a conduit of blessing to others who are drowning in the same lack you escaped. Ephesians 3:20 declares that He is able to do exceedingly abundantly, above all that we ask or think. That's not hyperbole, that's prophecy. Your upgraded answer is en route. Heaven is not preparing you anymore. Heaven is positioning you. There's a massive difference between preparation and positioning. Preparation is private. Positioning is public. Preparation happens in the cave. Positioning happens on the stage. David spent years being prepared in the wilderness, but when God positioned him, It happened in a single day. One moment he was a forgotten shepherd boy. The next moment, a giant was dead and a nation was chanting his name. Your positioning moment is here. And everyone who counted you out, everyone who said you were past your prime, everyone who acted like you had nothing left to offer, they're about to witness what happens when God elevates someone who learned to worship in the valley. But here's the question that will determine everything. Are you ready to stop talking like you're still climbing and start walking like you're already rising? Chosen one, congratulations. It's done. I need you to stop right where you are and let those 3 words sink into the deepest chamber of your heart. Not, it will be done. Not, it's almost done. Not, maybe someday it'll be done. It's done. Present tense. Finished. Complete. Accomplished. But what exactly is over? What has heaven just declared finished in your life? Because if you don't understand what's been cancelled, you'll keep living like you're still under its authority. Listen to me carefully. That financial terror that wakes you at 3 a.m., the one that makes you check your bank account 3 times before you buy a carton of eggs, the one that whispers you'll never have enough, the one that's haunted your family since your grandmother's generation, that spirit of poverty just lost its jurisdiction over your bloodline. The cycle is broken, not paused, broken. You know what Revelation 21:5 says? Behold, I make all things new. Not some things, not most things, all things. And when the Almighty declares something new, the old doesn't just fade away, it gets obliterated, erased, cancelled from the record like it never had permission to exist in the first place. That toxic pattern you inherited, the one where every man in your family walked away, where every woman carried silent rage, where addiction passed through generations like a family heirloom. Nobody wanted, but everyone received that generational curse. Just hit an expiration date. It can't negotiate. For 60, 70, 80 years, you've been carrying guilt that wasn't even yours to carry. Guilt about the marriage that failed. Guilt about the children who turned out broken despite your best efforts. Guilt about not being enough, not doing enough, not praying hard enough. But Romans 8:1 cuts through that darkness like a sword. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus. No condemnation, not less condemnation, not conditional condemnation, none. The guilt is over. The shame that made you avoid mirrors and dodge phone calls and hide in your own home like a prisoner, it just got served eviction papers from heaven's court. But here's where it gets deeper. Here's where the revelation starts to burn. That loneliness you've been drowning in, the kind that sits in your chest like a stone, even when you're in a room full of people, the kind that makes you wonder if you're invisible, if anyone would notice, if you just disappeared. Listen to what Jesus said in Matthew 28:20. I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Always. Not sometimes. Not when you're good enough. Not when you feel worthy. Always. The loneliness you've been calling reality. That was a demonic illusion. A trick of the enemy to make you forget that the creator of the universe has never, not for one single second, taken his eyes off you. That spirit of isolation just lost its power to convince you that you're alone. And those attacks, oh beloved, those relentless attacks that came at you from every direction, the diagnosis right after the funeral, the betrayal right after the breakthrough, the financial crisis right after you finally got ahead. You thought that was just bad luck? You thought that was coincidence? No, that was targeted warfare. 1 Peter 5:8 warns us, Your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. But notice something he's seeking. He's hunting. He's targeting. Why? Because he saw what heaven placed inside you, and he's been trying to kill it before it fully manifested. But here's the shocking truth that's going to change everything. You survived every single attack. Every weapon formed against you failed. Every scheme to destroy you collapsed. Every plan to silence you backfired. Isaiah 54:17 wasn't just poetry, it was prophecy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. The warfare season is over. The attacks that should have killed you couldn't. The battles that should have broken you didn't. And now, right now, God is moving you into a dimension where the enemy can't even reach you anymore. You will never have to go through that again. Let that sentence sit on your soul for a moment. Let it seep into the cracks where fear has been living rent-free for decades. You will never have to go through that again. Not because you're stronger, not because you finally figured it out, not because you prayed the right prayer or fasted long enough, but because heaven just declared, enough. Because the Father looked at your file and stamped it with 4 words that changed everything. This season is closed. Your spirit is stepping into a realm where the enemy can't follow you, a place where his voice becomes static, where his weapons turn to dust before they reach you, where his schemes dissolve before they form. But you have to declare it. You have to speak it into existence. You have to open your mouth and agree with what heaven just announced over your life. Write it in the comments right now. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Just release it. I'm free. Because, beloved, heaven responds to declarations. And what you declare with your mouth, you activate in your spirit. But there's something else God wants you to understand about this freedom. Something that will transform not just your remaining years, but the generations coming after you. Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake the very foundation of everything you've believed about your suffering. There is a spiritual exchange happening right now. Heaven is trading your pain for purpose. You hear that? Not someday, not when you get to glory. Right now, this very second. While you're sitting there wondering if your life still matters, while you're calculating how many years you have left, while you're staring at that empty chair across from you, God is performing the greatest transaction in the spiritual realm. What drained you, God is replacing. What broke you, God is restoring. What was taken, God is returning. But I need you to understand something that's going to cut deep. The reason you've suffered so long isn't because God forgot about you. It's because the value of what He's about to give you required the weight of everything you've been through to balance the scales. You lost time, decades of it. You look back at 40, 50, 60 years and wonder where they went. The children you raised who barely call anymore. The career that consumed you until your body gave out. The marriage that ended, or the spouse that left you here alone. You count the years like coins that slipped through your fingers, and you can't get them back. You lost health. That body that used to climb stairs without thinking twice now aches just getting out of bed. The medications lined up on your counter like soldiers. The doctor appointments that fill your calendar more than birthday parties do. You remember when you could work 12 hours straight, when you could dance, when you could see clearly, when your hands didn't shake. You lost relationships. Your best friend from high school, gone. Your siblings scattered across the country, too busy with their own lives. Your children with families of their own, promising to visit soon, but soon never comes. You sit in a house full of memories and empty rooms, talking to photographs because the people in them have moved on. You lost dreams. That business you wanted to start, that place you wanted to travel, that person you wanted to become. Somewhere along the way, survival replaced aspiration, bills replaced bucket lists, duty replaced desire. And now you look at what's left of your life and wonder if dreaming is even allowed anymore. Job knew this ache. Job 17:11 says, "My days have passed, my plans are shattered." You feel that in your bones, don't you? Plans shattered, not delayed, not postponed, shattered. But here's what Job didn't know in that moment, and here's what you need to hear right now. Job 42:10 declares, After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Twice as much. You lost. You cried. You endured. And now you receive. But not what you had before. Not the same health, the same relationships, the same dreams. God doesn't do reruns. He does resurrections. He doesn't rewind your life. He redeems it. The enemy thought he was destroying you with those losses. He thought if he could take enough from you, your strength, your people, your hope, that you'd finally give up on God. He calculated that 70 years of disappointment would be enough to make you bitter. 80 years of watching others succeed while you struggled would turn your heart to stone. 90 years of praying prayers that seemed to bounce off the ceiling would make you stop praying altogether. But he made one fatal miscalculation. He forgot that the longer you walk with God through the valley, the deeper your roots grow. He forgot that every tear you cried became seed in heaven's soil. He forgot that survivors become warriors, and warriors don't surrender, they adapt. Isaiah 61:7 says it plainly. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. Double portion, not equal exchange, not fair trade, double. The devil stole years from you, but God is about to give you decades of peace in return. Peace that doesn't depend on your children calling, peace that doesn't fluctuate with your bank account, peace that doesn't disappear when your body reminds you of your age. The kind of peace that makes people half your age look at you and wonder what you know that they don't. But here's the exchange that's going to wreck you. God isn't just replacing what you lost. He's upgrading it. Your lost time becomes wisdom that younger generations desperately need. Your lost health becomes dependence on His strength that demonstrates His power. Your lost relationships become space for divine connections you never would have made. Your lost dreams become surrender that unlocks His dreams for you. 2 Corinthians 4:17 says, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." You thought your troubles were destroying your story. They were actually writing your testimony. You thought your losses were the end. They were actually the exchange rate. You thought your suffering was pointless. It was actually priceless. Because what's coming next, what God is about to release into the final chapter of your life, it required everything you went through to prepare you to handle it without it destroying you, corrupting you, or making you forget where it came from. But the question burning in heaven right now is this: are you ready to receive the exchange? Or are you still holding on to the pain? Chosen one, I need you to stop right where you are and answer me something. Something you've been afraid to ask out loud, but it's been screaming in your mind every single morning when you wake up. Why am I still here? Your spouse is gone. Your friends from church, most of them have passed on. Your children are busy with their own lives, 3 states away, calling once a month if you're lucky. Your body hurts in places you didn't even know existed. The mirror shows you a stranger, and every night you lie in that bed wondering the same thing. God, why didn't you take me home yet? What am I still doing here? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. That question, that ache in your chest, that feeling of being left behind while everyone else moved on, that's not emptiness, beloved. That's not God forgetting you. That's the sound of your assignment knocking on the door of your spirit. You think you're just waiting to die, but God says you're waiting to deliver. You think you're in your final chapter, but heaven calls it your most important chapter. You think your purpose expired with your retirement watch, but the Almighty is saying your real work is just beginning. Listen to what Psalm 92:14 declares. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Did you catch that? Still bear fruit. Not used to, not once did. Still. Present tense, active, alive. Your flame didn't go out, dear one. It was hidden from the wind. Think about this. When a shepherd has 100 sheep and night is falling, which ones does he bring closest to the fire? The young, energetic lambs who can wander and explore? No, he brings the oldest, the most experienced, the ones who've walked through every season and survived every storm. Because when darkness comes, you don't need energy, you need wisdom. You don't need speed, you need steadiness. America is in darkness right now. Your grandchildren are growing up in a world that's forgotten how to pray, forgotten how to worship, forgotten how to stand on faith when everything falls apart. And God is looking across this nation asking, who can I trust to hold the light steady? Who's been through enough battles to know that I never fail? Who's got enough scars to prove that my grace is sufficient? He's looking at you. You survived the Depression-era mindset of your parents. You walked through wars, whether you fought in them or held down the home front. You buried people you loved. You raised children through chaos. You held marriages together when divorce was easier. You kept your faith when the world called you foolish. You prayed when heaven felt silent. You tithed when your wallet was empty. You forgave when bitterness would have been justified. Every single year you've lived, every tear you've cried, every night you didn't quit, it was all training, boot camp, seminary, preparation for right now. But here's what breaks my heart. The enemy has convinced you that your best years are behind you, that your influence is shrinking, that your voice doesn't matter anymore. He's whispered lies about your body failing, your mind slowing, your time running out. And you believed him. That's the lie that's keeping God's secret weapon on the sidelines. Let me ask you something that might sting. When you're gone, what will your great-grandchildren remember about your faith? Will they remember a warrior who prayed until breakthrough came, or someone who gave up and faded quietly? Will they inherit a legacy of fire, or just some old furniture and faded photographs? Moses was 80 years old, 80, when God appeared in that burning bush and said, "Now I'm going to use you to deliver an entire nation." Not when he was 20 and full of vigor, not when he was 40 and still had influence in Pharaoh's court. At 80, when the world would have put him out to pasture. Caleb was 85 when he stood before Joshua and declared, "Give me this mountain, not give me a rocking chair, not let me fade away peacefully. Give me this mountain, give me the giants, give me the battle." Anna the prophetess was 84 years old, spending day and night in the temple when baby Jesus was brought in. 84, and she was the first to prophesy over the Messiah. Not the young priests, not the scholars, the elderly widow who refused to stop watching, waiting, believing. Your breath is proof God is not done revealing your purpose. Every morning you wake up, every sunrise you see, every beat of your heart, it's God saying, "Not yet. I still need you." There's still someone who needs your testimony. There's still a prayer that only you can pray. There's still a legacy that only you can leave. You're not living your last chapter, chosen one. You're living your most crucial chapter. The one that determines whether your family line breaks free or stays bound. The one that shows your grandchildren what real faith looks like when it's been tested by time. The one that proves to hell itself that God's people don't quit just because the road gets long. So let me ask you again, and I want you to answer out loud, right where you're sitting. Why are you still alive? Because God has an assignment with your name on it. And what he's about to reveal next will show you exactly what that assignment is. Listen to me, chosen one. Right now, in this very moment, something is being severed in the spiritual realm. I'm not talking about hope. I'm not talking about possibility. I'm talking about divine surgery. Heaven's scissors are cutting the last thread that bound you to what broke you. What destroyed you has been detached from your destiny. You feel it, don't you? That strange lightness in your chest. That unfamiliar peace settling over your spirit like morning dew. You've been carrying weight for so long that you forgot what freedom feels like. But something just shifted. The atmosphere around your life just changed, and hell itself knows it. For decades, maybe your entire adult life, you've been chained to a pattern. Depression that visits you like clockwork every fall. Financial collapse that strikes just when you're getting ahead. Betrayal that finds you even when you've built walls around your heart. Sickness that returns every few years, like some demonic appointment on heaven's calendar. But I'm here to tell you something that's going to shake the foundations of every fear you've carried. That cycle just got cancelled. God didn't just heal you, He severed you. There's a difference, beloved. Healing closes the wound. Severance removes the source. Healing helps you recover. Severance ensures it cannot return. Think about the woman with the issue of blood in Mark chapter 5. For 12 years, she hemorrhaged. 12 years. Every doctor failed her, every treatment bankrupted her, every hope disappointed her. But when she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, He didn't just stop the bleeding. He said something that will wreck you. Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction. That word healed in the original Greek is sozo. It means saved, delivered, made completely whole. Not bandaged, not managed, severed from the source. And right now, the same power that spoke to her condition is speaking to yours. It cannot return. Say that out loud right where you are. It cannot return. Say it again. It cannot return. Because hell needs to hear your voice, agreeing with heaven's decree. You see, the enemy has been running the same playbook against you for so long that you started believing it was just your lot in life. That's just how I am, you told yourself. That's just what happens to people in my family. But that's not theology, that's witchcraft. That's the enemy convincing you that his assignments are your identity. But Galatians 3:13 demolishes that lie. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. Do you understand what that means? Every generational curse, every cyclical torment, every repeating pattern of pain, Jesus didn't just take it to the cross. He became it. He absorbed it into His own body so it would die with Him and stay dead. It cannot reclaim you. I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking about next month, next year, the next crisis. You're thinking, but what if it comes back? What if this is just temporary? What if I'm getting my hopes up for nothing? Let me ask you something that might sting. How many years have you wasted preparing for the next attack instead of stepping into your freedom? How many dreams have you buried because you were too afraid the pain would return? How many mornings have you woken up just waiting for the other shoe to drop? It cannot follow you. The Red Sea that Pharaoh's army pursued Israel through, it closed behind them. The Egyptians who tormented them for 400 years, they drowned in the very waters that parted for God's people. Exodus 14:13 records Moses saying, "The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. Never again." That's not positive thinking. That's prophetic declaration. That's God putting a divine restraining order on everything that's hunted you. You will not relive that depression. The chemical warfare in your brain that made you want to die at 3 a.m., severed. You will not relive that betrayal. The people who used your kindness as a doormat, their access has been revoked. You will not relive that financial devastation. The poverty spirit that stalked your family for 3 generations, its contract just expired. And I need you to hear this clearly, because seniors carry a specific fear that younger people don't understand. You will not relive that pain. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not financially. You're not going to die the way your mother died, bitter, broke, and alone. You're not going to end up in that nursing home you've been dreading, forgotten by your children, staring at walls, waiting for death. You're not going to leave this earth wondering if your life mattered. because Isaiah 46:4 is God's promise to you right now. Even to your old age I am He, and even to gray hairs I will carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. The season that destroyed you is no longer authorized to approach you. Did you catch that word? Authorized. Hell operates on permissions and assignments, and whatever demonic authorization was granted over your life, whether through generational sin, through your own mistakes, through agreements you made in desperation, that paperwork just got shredded in the courts of heaven. Job 22:28 declares, "You will also declare a thing, and it will be established for you. So declare it now. My season of torment is over. My warfare is finished. My suffering has expired, because what's coming next isn't just relief, beloved. What's coming next is something you stopped believing could happen to someone like you at your age. What's coming next is the life you thought you'd missed. You know what nobody ever tells you about getting older? They don't tell you that the hardest part isn't the aching joints or the pills you take every morning. The hardest part is watching your prayers seem to evaporate into thin air while everyone else's get answered. You've been chasing peace your whole life, haven't you? Chasing stability, chasing rest, chasing that moment when you could finally exhale and say, "It's okay now. I made it." But every time you got close, something yanked it away. Every time you thought you'd found it, life moved the goalpost another 10 yards down the field. But chosen one, what I'm about to tell you is going to flip everything you've ever believed about how God's blessings work. Blessings don't wait for you to find them. They hunt you down. Let me say that again, because your religious programming is fighting this truth right now. In the kingdom of heaven, blessings chase chosen ones. They track you. They pursue you. They won't stop until they find you. You've spent 70, 80, 90 years believing that you had to earn God's favor, that you had to pray harder, give more, be better, sacrifice more. You've been running toward blessing your entire life, and you're exhausted. Your knees don't work like they used to. Your energy isn't what it was. And somewhere deep inside, you've started to believe that you'll die before you ever catch what you've been chasing. But here's the shocking truth that's about to change everything. You were never supposed to chase it. It was always supposed to chase you. Look at what Jesus said in Matthew 6:33. "Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you." Added, not earned, not extracted through decades of begging. Added, like interest accumulating in a bank account you didn't even know you had. Think about the prodigal son for a moment. That boy ran away from everything, wasted his inheritance, lived in pig filth, hit rock bottom so hard he was eating animal food to survive. And what did the father do? Did he sit on his porch waiting for the son to grovel his way back? No. Luke 15:20 says, "But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him." The father ran. The blessing chased the broken one. You've been that prodigal, haven't you? Maybe not in sin, but in shame, in feeling unworthy, in believing that your mistakes disqualified you. And all this time, your father has been running toward you, not away from you. But let me tell you something that's going to sound impossible until you understand the spiritual mathematics of it. What you lost is returning. Not in the same form, no, that would be too predictable for God. It's coming back multiplied, magnified, and in ways you won't even recognize at first. I call it the boomerang blessing. Job understood this. The man lost everything, his children, his wealth, his health, his reputation, everything. But Job 42:10 says, "The Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends." Indeed, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Twice as much. That's not restoration, that's multiplication. The children who stopped calling, God's preparing reconciliation you can't manufacture. The retirement fund that vanished? Heaven's been earning interest on your faithfulness. The spouse you buried and still cry over? The Father's been preparing a peace so deep it will feel like arms around you in the middle of the night. It's looking for you right now. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest that you've been trying to ignore because you're afraid to hope again? That's not your imagination. That's the blessing announcing its arrival. It's calling your name, not your legal name, not the name on your social security card, your eternal name, the name God whispered over you before you were born, the name that still echoes in heaven, even when you've forgotten it on earth. It's tracking your steps. You thought you were wandering aimlessly through these final years. You thought you were just killing time until God called you home. But every step you've taken in faithfulness, even when it hurt, even when nobody saw, even when it seemed pointless, has been creating a trail for your blessing to follow straight to your door. Deuteronomy 28:2 says, "All these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, like a freight train, like a tidal wave, like something so powerful you can't outrun it, even if you tried." You spent years waiting for the blessing, decades praying for it, a lifetime wondering if God heard you. But here's what's about to break your mind wide open. The blessing has been waiting for you to stop running, waiting for you to stop hiding, waiting for you to finally believe that you're worthy, not because of what you did, but because of whose you are. It's been sitting at your door like a package that requires your signature, and today, this very moment, heaven is knocking, saying, "We've been trying to deliver this for years. Will you finally open the door?" But the question that will determine whether you receive it or miss it is this: are you ready to stop chasing and start receiving? Beloved chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to hold on to 3 eternal truths that will anchor your soul in the days ahead. First, your suffering has an expiration date, and that date has come. What tried to destroy you for decades has lost its legal right to torment you. The warfare contract heaven signed over your life has been marked, paid in full. You are stepping out of repetition and into resurrection. Second, the blessing isn't something you chase anymore, it's chasing you. Everything you lost, every door that slammed shut, every prayer that seemed to disappear into silence, it's all been accumulating interest in heaven's vault. And now, the Father is releasing it not drop by drop, but flood by flood. Third, you are not too old, too late, or too broken for God to use you powerfully. Your final chapter isn't an epilogue, it's your finest hour. The wisdom carved into your soul through decades of fire is exactly what this generation needs to see. But I need you to know something deeper than knowledge, something that settles in your bones. You are not walking this path alone. Right now, in this very moment, the God who knows every hair on your head, who collects every tear you cry, who hears every midnight whisper, He is working behind the scenes of your life in ways you cannot see, but will soon experience. And beyond that, you have a community right here. Thousands of believers who understand your struggle, who've walked through their own valleys, who are ready to stand with you in prayer. You are not isolated. You are not forgotten. You are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses who believe with you that your breakthrough is not just coming, it's here. So let me ask you this one final question, and let it echo in your spirit long after this video ends. If God has brought you this far through everything that tried to stop you, why would He abandon you now at the threshold of your greatest victory? Before I release you, join me in this prayer. Wherever you are, your living room, your bedroom, sitting in your car, place your hand on your heart and let me speak over your life. Heavenly Father, I come before your throne right now, lifting up every precious soul who has stayed with us through this entire message. Lord, you see them. You see the tears they've cried that no one else witnessed. You see the prayers they've whispered that felt like they bounced off the ceiling. You see the pain they've carried in silence because they didn't want to burden anyone else. Father, I'm asking you right now, let them feel your presence like never before. Touch them where they hurt, heal them where they're broken, restore what the enemy has stolen. Open doors that have been locked for decades. Silence every voice that has told them they're too old, too late, too damaged. God, breathe fresh hope into their weary bones. Give them dreams in the night and visions in the day. Surround them with divine connections, supernatural provision, and peace that surpasses all understanding. Let them wake up tomorrow, knowing, not just believing, but knowing that their season has shifted. Protect their families, heal their bodies, multiply their resources, reconcile their relationships, and most of all, Father, remind them every single morning that they are loved beyond measure, chosen beyond doubt, and held in your hands where no weapon can touch them. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer over their lives. Amen. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell us what God spoke to your heart today. Share where you need prayer. Ask your questions. And if this message touched your soul, please share it with someone who needs to hear that their suffering has an expiration date. Someone in your life is waiting for exactly this word. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart and letting these words penetrate the deepest places of your spirit. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because this isn't just content. This is a movement of the chosen ones who refuse to give up. Until we meet again, remember, it's done. You will never have to go through that again. Walk in freedom, beloved. Your breakthrough is here.